Okay, welcome students for this practical on shielded metal arc welding. So this is the instrument for the shielded metal arc welding. In this instrument we can see that workpiece is positive and electrode is negative. So we are using here direct current straight polarity. Okay, so this is the electrode we are going to use in the shielded metal arc welding. In the previous practical we have seen the CO2 welding, that is a carbon dioxide welding. So in that welding we use the carbon dioxide as the inert gas, and also we have seen the tungsten inert gas welding. So in that welding we have used tungsten as the inert gas to protect the weld from atmospheric contamination. Now here we are not using any gas, we are using here, so this is the electrode which is used in the shielded metal arc welding, that is SMAW welding. Now this electrode, you can see in the center it is the core wire and it is surrounded by the flux covering. Okay, and this is the stub end of the electrode which can be held in the welding torch here. You can see here. So it is held in the welding torch. So in the center you will get the core wire and it is surrounded by the flux covering. Now what is the function of the core wire? Core wire will carry the electric current to set up the arc between electrode and workpiece, and second function, it will act as a filler material also. Okay, so it is made from the same material as your base material, so it will melt and it will act as a filler material during the welding. And the flux covering will melt during the welding and it will form the slag, and this slag will protect the weld from atmospheric contamination. And after the completion of the weld, we can remove the slag with the help of this chipper. Okay, now let's see how this welding can be done on the workpiece. Okay. Okay, first we have the tack welding, and then we actually will perform now the shielded metal arc welding for this workpiece. Okay, now you can see this is the completed weld by SMAW welding, and on this weld the slag is formed. Okay, the weld is beneath this slag, and what is the function of the slag? The slag will protect the weld from atmospheric contamination. So any defect in the welding can be avoided with the help of this slag. So how this slag is formed? The flux covering will melt and it will form the slag around the weld, and the core wire will melt and it will deposit the filler material. Okay, now we'll see how this slag can be removed with the help of the chipper. You can see here. Okay, so after the completion of the weld, you have to remove the slag by chipping action. Okay, you can see the completed weld also. Okay, so this one is your completed weld and this one is the slag. Okay, so you have to remove the slag by chipping action. Okay, so this slag will be formed in case of shielded metal arc welding for the protection of the weld from atmospheric contamination. This is not the case for TIG welding or CO2 welding, because in TIG welding and CO2 welding we are not using the flux covering, we are using the gases, inert gases we are using to protect the weld from atmospheric contamination. Okay, so here we have to remove the slag by chipping action. and after that you will get the completed weld. What is the disadvantage of this welding? When your electrode is consumed, you have to replace with the new electrode. And secondly, in the TIG welding or in the CO2 welding, we are using the spool. Okay, the spool can be fed continuously so that we can carry out the welding. In the general fabrication shop, we can use this shielded metal arc welding. It is a continuous application. So, thank you.